First of all, thank you. Secondly, check out 310 to Left on Nesson as well. TC and Lou break down the Alex Bregman deal. Exciting stuff for the Sox. 310 to Left can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. All right, here we go. Time for Hold My Banner. How about this? NBA All-Star Game edition. And we have to bring out the All-Stars for this. You, of course, Travis Thomas here, and the walking, talking triple-double, Ante Campbell. How you doing, player?
I'm doing good, 2Ts. I'm excited. I got my Valentine's colors on,
you do?
You know what I mean? So I'm excited for Valentine's All-Star Weekend.
Yeah. Hey, now, you're an All-Star.
Hey.
It's Valentine's Day. Get your love on. That was a nice little remix right there.
Yes, it was.
All right, Tay, well, let's just jump right in. Tell me right now who's winning the NBA All-Star Game on Sunday.
I won't waste too much time.
Okay.
I think it's Team Shaq. And
Okay.
I'm gonna and look, here's the thing.
All right.
As we're looking at the teams on our screen,
Yeah.
you know, Team Shaq has the vets.
Shaq OGs.
They got the OGs. That's why he went and got the OGs. You know what I'm saying? He's got LeBron. He's got KD. He's got Steph. He's got the champions, Tatum and Brown.
All
How
right.
can I not rock with them? Now, Team Kenny is the worst team. I can tell you that. So they're the worst team, which is probably why they'll end up winning the All-Star game.
He's got
actually.
the Young Bucks.
But he's got the Young Bucks, kind of the misfits, kind of the guys that no one really, I won't say wanted, but you can see the theme with Shaq's team. He wanted champions and he wanted OGs. You can see the team when we get to Chuck's team. He wanted the bigs. He wanted all the bigs. We got it here on the screen for you right here. He's got every big. He's got Jokic. He's got Giannis, who's obviously not playing. He's an injury replacement guy. He's got Siakam, Cat. He's got Alperen Sengun. He's got Victor Wembanyama.
That's a good team,
So
bro.
he has a good team, but he has all the bigs on his team. But Team Kenny, I don't know. It's just kind of the misfits. They don't really come together,
Yeah.
and that's why they'll end up winning this game because they have a bunch of guys who are good NBA players. Obviously, all of these guys are great NBA players. Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson, Jalen Williams, all those guys. But I just think it's a team that's less congruent. So I'm going to say Team Shaq, in my opinion, is winning this All-Star game.
I completely agree with you in Team Shaq, but I think you're sleeping a little bit on Chuck's team.
No, I like the bigs.
Well, I'm
Wemby's
saying
going to be at the 2.
Here's
How
why-
can I not like that?
Here's why I'm saying you're sleeping. I think Chuck's team could beat Shaq's team. So look, we'll get into MVPs for this game because I want to go there. But before that,
Yes.
I'm confused. So Candace Parker has a team as well on
Yes.
Sunday, right? But we have to wait until tonight's festivities play out.
Right.
Isn't it something like that?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So the Rising Stars game is tonight.
It's tonight.
And they have the opportunity to play same type of tournament style. It'll be 4 teams, 3 Rising Star teams, and then 1 G League team. She'll have the opportunity to coach the team that wins tonight in the Rising Stars Challenge.
So that's where – so listen – all of a sudden, that could be a curveball involved in this too. Maybe Candace Parker.
They probably, it's either going to be them or Kenny, just because those 2 teams are going to be the least congruent teams.
Yes.
And they're going to end up going to win just because that's how it goes. And they'll play hard.
Okay.
And they'll do that.
Let's leave them out of this.
Okay.
Let's go because it sounds like we agree Shaq or Chuck's team.
Have the best teams. Yes.
If it's Shaq's team that wins, I think Tatum's MVP. If it's Chuck's team that wins, I'm going to go Donovan Mitchell MVP. And my thought process behind both is both of these guys right now are playing fantastic basketball.
Yeah.
Both of their teams are winning going into this All-Star break. And I just have a feeling both of them are going to want to put their mark on this game and win the MVP. So if it's Shaq's team, I'll go Tatum. If it's Chuck's team, I'll go Donovan Mitchell. What say you?
I'm going to tell you exactly who's going to win All-Star MVP. And I'm betting against the team that I thought is going to win.
Okay.
But I think that Trae Young is going to come in as the injury replacement for Giannis, as I brought up earlier, and be All-Star MVP. And the reason that I think that he's going to get our All-Star MVP is, 1, he plays on the team with all bigs. That'll help him out for sure in that situation.
Yeah.
But 2, he's coming in for Petty Hoops. I told y'all the last episode, so Petty Hoops was coming when Trae Young was going to walk into the Garden, and that was a monster of a game that he had, and also a monster of a game to watch, which you guys should be paying attention to the end of the episode because I'm always giving you gems, and so is Travis.
Yep.
But Trae Young is going to come in feeling slighted. He tweeted about being an all-star and how annoyed that he was that the league keeps snubbing him every single year, and he has to keep being an all-star replacement for guys that get hurt. He should have already been an all-star. I told you this in the first place.
You did.
He should have been in over a couple of guys. I won't name names this time. But Trae Young will win all-star MVP if Team Chuck wins this game.
All right, fair enough. All right, final word on this.
Yes.
Do you like sort of this new format with the all-star game? Because I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think this coupled with all the superstars getting traded 5 minutes ago, I think it's exactly what the NBA needs. My gut tells me ratings will be good this weekend in all these festivities, and we'll talk about tonight as well and Saturday night coming up in a minute. But I actually think this will work for the NBA. I like the new format for the All-Star game. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. I do like the new format because it'll give us opportunities to watch stars actually get more opportunities to make plays in these games. Now, these games are going to be short, but we had opportunities to see Jokic play, and he would play 7 minutes, and he would just kind of pass. Now that he's 1 of 8 instead of 1 of 12, you know what I'm saying, on a team, he has the opportunity to go in and try to take over and make more plays for his team instead of feeling like he's just one of the guys on the team. So I'm excited that we'll get more of the all-stars that we want to see playing major minutes and more possessions for their team.
Well, in addition to the All-Star game this weekend, how about this? Red Sox spring training is on and popping, baby.
Yes, sir.
Come on down, Alex Bregman. Thank you very much. Now, everyone's watching closely to see if this team is playoff bound this season, and we know you have a lot of questions about the Sox future. Come get with us on Nesson's Baseball Podcast 310 to Left. We answer all those questions. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. All right, Tay, we do have some All-Star festivities tonight. And, of course, Saturday, as always, dunk contest, skills challenge, three-point contest. So let's get into tonight. Mitch Richmond's team. I mean, listen, I kind of like this Rising Stars challenge here. I'm going to roll with Mitch Richmond's team because it really has like built-in chemistry. I noticed a lot of teammates on his squad. The Wizards have 2 players. Portland has 2 players. Of course, the Thompson boys, who you know I think the world of, are on Mitch Richmond's team. I think because of that, I'm going to roll with him in the Rising Stars game tonight. Who you rolling with?
Yeah, I'm also rolling with Mitch Richmond's team. I was right there with you. I just love these teams. I remember watching the Rising Stars Challenge last year, and it was a similar format as they have this year. And the teams that came in and had the scrappy defenders, which is what the G League team did. They were scrappy, they were defensive, and they won this Rising Stars Challenge. It's going to be the exact same thing here. When you got Tsunami Kamara out there playing defense with the Thompson twins playing defense with Bilal Coulibaly playing defense. Coulibaly. And Yves Missy, and then you add a shooter like Julian Strother to this team. This team could be really dangerous because, you know, a lot of these guys are going to be a little nervous having their first opportunity to play in a Rising Stars event, play in front of this crowd with the jerseys and the court and the celebrities and all this other stuff for the first time. And the teams that are going to lock in on defense are the teams that are going to be successful this weekend. And so I think that you're right. Team Mitch Richmond will be the team that wins this.
I think so. I mean, I'm looking at the rosters now as we talk. Tim Hardaway's got some ballers on his team. Risha Shea, Sar, Pods. Team C is Castle.
Chris Mullen's team.
Reed Shepard. Mac McClung's on that team.
I'm surprised you're not rocking with that team. Castle and Zach Edey?
Yeah, this is a pretty good team. Jeremy Lin coaches this team, by the way.
Yeah, the G League team. He's coaching the J.D. Davison, Mac McClung.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, those are going to be
These rosters are good. I'm still going to roll with Mitch Richmond's team. By the way, we don't care about this game, but we'll both watch it, the All-Star game tonight with all the celebrities.
The celebrity game.
I mean, Barry Bonds is coaching. 2 Chainz is in the game. Jerry Rice is coaching the other team. This stuff's exciting, man.
It is. It is exciting.
Stuff.
I will be watching. I will be paying attention. I don't care too much. What I do care about is the other weekend events. I can't wait to watch dunk contest
tomorrow night.
I can't wait to watch the 3-point contest, which we will not be getting Steph and Sabrina part 2 this year, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But who do you think is going to win the 3-point contest in the dunk? Let's start with the 3-point contest.
I'm not betting against Dame, and I know it's boring. I think that would be 3 in a row if he wins it. But listen, I've lost money on Tay.
Yeah.
The first year I bet on him and he won.
Mm-hmm.
The second year I was like, he's not going to repeat, and I lost money. I think I bet on old Dolphin Teeth, Buddy Hield.
He's back in the field here, as we can see.
He's back.
He's back in the field.
Dolphin Teeth.
Yep. Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Norman Powell.
I mean, I'm not losing money again this time. Yeah. I'll put my money on Dame Dollars.
Okay.
Who you got?
Yeah, I'll probably rock with Dame too. I would like to throw some money on Jalen Brunson. I think he's felt slighted after he should have won, and his dad keeps him hard on him. And he's like, "Why aren't you doing better?" So I think Jalen Brunson's coming for this one. If I had to put a dark horse, but I think you're right. Dame's going 3 in a row. What about the dunk contest? Really quickly, who do you think's winning this?
Matt
one?
McClung again. And I think that would be 3 for him too.
Yeah.
I'm not even really interested in these other guys dunking. I'm not. It's gonna be him. He's gonna three-peat.
Yeah.
You know my famous story. I covered the kid in high school. He was amazing.
Yeah.
It'll be Mac.
Mac will definitely have an advantage coming in and knowing what it takes to win a dunk contest, seeing that he's won 2 already.
Yes.
But I don't think we're getting a repeat offender in this situation. After watching Stephon Castle and seeing him all throughout this year, he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. He's pretty much wrapped that up with a bow at this point.
In game.
But watching him dunk against the Celtics on Wednesday night and have a little flair to him, he's got a little feistiness. He even changed his shoes at halftime to wear the Tatum threes against Tatum. Maybe he's got a little spiciness to him.
Might.
I think he's gonna go out there and put out on a show.
Okay.
There's a lot of really athletic guys in this field, but I think Stephon Castle's walking away with this and Rookie of the Year later this year.
Bro, I actually hope you're right because I told you I'm sick of the dunk contest. I am. So if I can get a little rivalry there, Mac against Castle, that'd be fantastic.
It would.
I'm all in for that. Skills challenge, I'm taking Team Spurs.
I don't care.
There's no way I can bet against CP3 and Wemby.
Yeah.
Although Team Cavs is Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. That's intriguing, but I'm rolling with the Spurs here. You got an up-close look at this team, especially Wemby. We'll talk about that later in the show. But skills challenge, I'm going to go to Spurs there. You agree?
Yeah, I don't care. Who cares?
How is this possible?
That's the one event.
You're the only bigger hoops head than me, and you don't care.
Yeah, that's the one event where I'll be getting in my car, driving down the street, going to find me some food. Yeah, I'm not worried about that one.
Well, you won't hear about the skills challenge here on Hold My Banner, but if you want to hear all about Boston sports, check out Nesson's daily sports podcast, Boston Has Entered the Chat. You, too, can enter the conversation by tweeting at us using the hashtag NessonChat, or you can always email the chat at Nesson.com. Boston Has Entered the Chat is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else podcasts are found. All right, Tay, you were in the building.
I was.
We only have one game to watch before the All-Star break, and it was the Celtics at home. They beat the Spurs 116-103.
Yes.
Listen, you called a mollywop in that game. I thought it would be closer, and to be honest, the score was closer than this game felt. Celtics allowed the Spurs to get back in this one. Really, they were dominant from the beginning, though. Sort of your thoughts of just being in the building, seeing Wemby up close, seeing this young upstart Spurs team against the champs.
Yeah, we actually got some B-roll provided by me from this game, And, it was great. It was great watching Wemby in this game. It was great to see where he's at with the new De'Aaron Fox in the building and watch this team's continuity. Right. What I walked away with in this game is, one, they call him an alien for a reason because this dude was just larger than life. I couldn't believe how tall this man really was for the first time seeing him in person. But the thing about this Spurs team that was so great, throughout this game is that they didn't back down. They went down 20 at half.
Right.
And I was sitting there licking my chops, getting ready to tell Travis, I told you it was going to be a 20-point game.
You love doing
that. But what they did in that third quarter for a team that's newer, it was a lot of what you talked about. Yeah. A team that has the ability to stay in close games, has the ability to be a defensive monster, make shots, timely shots. And that's really what it was. They weren't really getting too many stops because the Celtics were also firing off in the third quarter and having a good scoring performance. But offensively, I mean, I saw Castle dunks, him making timely mid-rangers. De'Aaron Fox making timely mid-range. Yeah. Also, the fastest player that I've ever seen in my life. Like, De'Aaron Fox jogs, and he's all the way to the other side of the court.
He's so fast.
And, Chris Paul being the leader that he was. Wemby getting dunks and layups.
Yeah.
They were just doing whatever they possibly could to claw and scratch and stay in that game. It was a shame that they had to face the champs because if they were facing anybody else, it would have been a comeback.
Sure.
But the Celtics really just stifled everything that the San Antonio Spurs wanted to do in that game, and that's really the mark of a champion. But I'm still very impressed with the San Antonio Spurs, and they could be a team that could get into the playoffs and scare a lot of people, maybe win a game or two in a playoff series.
Yeah, if they can get in right now, they're trying to get in the play-in-ville. They're not there yet, but they could get there. That'll be an interesting team to watch in the second half. As far as the Celtics against the Spurs, I agree with everything you said. I actually really, you were in the building, so it was different, but at home as a viewer, watching Porzingis and Wemby go at it was epic. It felt like a Godzilla versus King Kong.
Clash of the Titans, man.
Hey, Porzingis, 29.6 boards. I mean, he was right in there.
Yeah.
Wemby had a really good game. He does what he always does, 17 points, 13 boards.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that you spoke of in terms of skill set and what he brings to the table as an alien.
Yeah.
But I thought Porzingis playing in that game against Wemby was really fascinating to watch. Clash of the Titans. And he hung in there, Ted.
He did. It was. And the thing about it is it was so hard to find a Celtic that I was, not impressed with during that game.
Right.
Sam Hauser came in and gave great minutes as a starter. You know what I mean? Tatum is on an MVP push. We'll get into that in a second.
Sure.
But, a lot of those guys, Derek White came in and did some great things against his old team. Even Peyton Pritchard, he has some slow moments, and he does what he does. It was just hit timely shots and extend this Celtics lead. So I'm excited to continue to watch this team in the second half. Now, we'll get back to Tatum. Is he making an MVP push that no one's talking about now outside of Boston?
We've been talking, exactly. We've been talking about it here on Hold My Banner the whole season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, SGA keeps winning and keeps putting up numbers.
Yeah.
You almost need a cold streak, and we certainly don't ever root for anyone to get hurt. But if SGA were to miss significant time, that could help Tatum. But you're right. I mean, SGA, it feels like a foregone conclusion that he's the MVP.
Right.
But Tatum should have his name bubbling more than it is in these MVP conversations, and we're just not seeing it. Although I think both of us can acknowledge there's a lot more basketball left to be played in the second half of the season.
Over.
If the Thunder sort of come back down to earth, so to speak, and start losing some leverage, in the West, and they're not, running away with that one seed, maybe Tatum can sneak it in the conversation. But certainly we are spoiled as Celtics fans watching this guy consistently, Yante, every single night play like an MVP of this league. We get to see it every night, and that's why here in town we're going nuts with it.
We are, and I completely would agree with you. I think he needs more respect in that MVP caliber conversation. I understand Jokic. I understand SGA. I understand Giannis. But this dude is right there with him. I think people put them in a category just below them because he has a team that's better and they can pick him up and all this other stuff. But he's box office. The things that he's doing right now, he is just doing everything from the defensive end to the assist. He was flirting with a triple-double the other night.
And it's leadership, too.
Exactly. So and he doesn't cry and he doesn't complain and he's not whining about MVP, and maybe that's why he's not getting more love. Maybe he needs to pull a Joel Embiid and go out and say he's MVP every single time he gets interviewed. But, Tatum needs more respect. Last thing I want to say on this before we move on. Torrey Craig, thank you for coming to Boston.
I really like him. Well, we both like the addition,
Thank you for coming to Boston,
we like the
man.
move, Tay. When it happened, we talked about it, and we both liked it, and it's paying off.
He came in, got a deflection immediately. TD Garden, first possession, roaring.
Yep.
Then he goes 2 for 2 on his first shots from 3.
Yep.
He is a perfect Celtics guy, and I know a lot of Celtics fans were upset that Shea Brissett didn't get the opportunity to return, but I know right now, if you didn't watch that game, you will fall in love with Torrey Craig as a Boston Celtic. I promise you that the last number 12 jersey that you own won't be Terry Rozier.
Well said. He's got other fish to fry these days, too, but no, Tay, you know what? When they acquired him, we both liked the move, and it's paying off. And by the way, in Brad Stevens, we trust, right?
Yeah.
It's just yet another move and a long line of them that he's just better than everyone else. He's smarter than everyone else. And here's another addition that Brad Stevens has made that I think will pay dividends and we'll get a repeat championship run out of the Celtics. From Simone Biles to Caitlin Clark to all the top stories in sports, we've got you covered on Nesson's Women in Sports podcast, Respect Her Game. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. All right, Tay, I know you got a game for me this time. I smoked winning 7 the last time when you brought it. What are you bringing me this time?
You know what I'm bringing.
What we got?
Wicked.
Hey!
Yeah.
Come on, more fire.
Oh, man. All right, man. Here first, we got the new addition, Torrey Craig.
Oh, man.
What do you think about this fit from him? Shout out to League Fits for this photo. And shout out to the Happa Blonde for this image.
Man, you know I can't say anything mean when we just talked about him. And you know I want to.
What?
Look
What do you
at
gotta
this
say?
outfit.
What do you gotta say?
Ryan, take this, fool. I can't say anything mean here, but this whole fit is giving me Matrix vibes, like red or the blue pill, Neo. Like,
Why
I
do
mean,
you always go to the Matrix?
it's true, though. Or you're too young for this, but Missy Elliott used to wear this in every music video.
Hey, hold on. Don't do me like
Like,
that,
this
all right?
is, I can't stand the rain against my window. But, I mean, I can't say that after we just sang this man's praises. What about this? The top of this is giving me FABOLOUS.
That's exactly what it is. Fabulous.
You know what, Torrey Craig, man? Damn it, man. I got to go Wicked because I can't say anything mean. You're a Celtic. You've been hooping. We're happy to have you here. I'll go Wicked, man.
You tripping. Matter of fact, Torrey Craig, if you want to let me borrow this outfit, I'll wear it here in the office, dog.
You better not walk in here with this.
I will walk in here with that outfit, and you know I will. The leather hoodie with the leather sweatpants or whatever you want to call them.
I know he's noisy.
I think he got the Ricks on. Yeah, he's got some Chucks, Ricks. It looked like some Ricks on the bottom of his feet, but this is a totally dope fit. He's coming in. It looks like he's straight for business. This was in New York. He wore this in New York. This is a New York type fit.
Yeah,
He's rocking with it. He's in Boston. It's functional. It's cold out there in New York. You know what I'm saying? He's got functional fashion.
Yeah.
This one is a dope fit. Travis is tripping, as always.
Gave him Wicked.
No. You sound like an old head, and that's why you're telling me that I don't know about Missy Elliott when, of course, I know about Missy Elliott. You're an old head. You're hating, and this is Wicked.
I gave him Wicked.
Yeah, this is a Wicked. Look, this is a 2 out of 2. For his 2 out of 2 that he had from 3-point line in his first game as a Celtic. So this is Wicked, dog.
It is very New York. Like, he walking into the bodega. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese the Aki way.
The Aki way. Yes, sir. All right, next we got Alperen Sengun with an outfit that he's wore. Shout out to League Fits and Amar Multani. There we go on this fit. What do you think of this one, Travis Thomas?
This outfit is trash. Take this full.
Oh, my
This is what is going on? First of all, it is not 2003. Why is the white tee? Yep, in my white tee. Why is it 7X?
Because he's playing in the South in Houston.
People wear normal white tees that fit now. And then what in the Kendrick Lamar are these jeans?
All right, man.
Why is the bottom flared out so much?
Hey, I got a pair just like that. Don't do it like that.
Well, you know who has a pair of shoes like that? My wife. What are these shoes, Jack? What is this? Like, what's going on, man? Are these high heels? Like, what's happening? This outfit is trash. No. You need to get rid of the whole damn thing. I mean, donate it or something. Get it out of here. You don't even look like an NBA player. This is ridiculous.
No. You know what this reminds me
Trash.
of? This gives me a little Jason Aldean, Chris Stapleton vibes. Mixed with a little Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? Little Kenny, little Kung Fu Kenny with a little Andre 3000.
Those mixes don't make sense.
I don't care.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm rocking with it. And look, and they call me a Rockets hater. You the Rockets hater right now on this. I love this fit from Alperen Sengun. This is a dope fit from him.
God.
He's giving a Houston vibes.
What?
Shout out to the South Side. Shout out to the Texas Rangers.
What part of Houston
Wranglers.
is this?
Nah, this is dope. He's out there embracing the culture, and I love that from Alperen Sengun. This one is dope as heck, Travis. Dope as heck. So I'm giving this one a 7. I'm gonna say 6, 7.6 out of 10. This one's wicked for me.
What the hell
shout
is
out
wrong
to you.
with you?
Yeah,
bro?
Shout out to H-Town.
We gotta agree on something. Who's next?
Next, we got Brandon Ingram with a fit.
Okay, this looks normal.
Out in Toronto. This was his first appearance in Toronto in the tunnel. Shout out to League Fits again for this photo. What do you think of this one, Travis?
Okay, Thomas? I don't hate this. Can we get this full ride? I don't hate this outfit. Oh! What do we have here? Ryan, can you go in a little tighter? Okay, so the outfit is fine. What? Yo, BI. What? For our listening audience.
Why are you doing this?
Can I please describe what's happening? For our viewing audience, you already know. Okay? Munchies comes to mind. But for our listening audience, Brandon Ingram cannot open thine eyes. And I don't believe it's because he's sleepy. I don't believe he's had a stressful time being traded to Toronto.
Oh, man.
I think he's been smoking that Drake 6 God Toronto pack.
Oh, man.
Because he cannot open them pupils. Man, this is, my boy is baked. What is going on here? Oh. You know what? The outfit's fine, but just for the fact that I know he's hungry and thirsty with the cotton mouth, I'll go wicked for this outfit. Because my man is like, what city do I play in again, man? Oh, I'm on the Raptors now? Oh, that's cool, man.
Why is he a hippie?
I like Toronto, man.
Why is he a hippie?
Hey, check out my outfit, man. You think they'll talk about me on that show in Boston, bro? I got the rocker jacket. Just like a vintage tee and some stonewashed jeans, bro. I have a book in my hand, but I'm not really reading because all the words just kind of blend together right now, man. I'm seeing a lot of colors, bro. So anyways, I'm going to go out here and drop mad points because my team sucks, but I'm chilling, though, and I really like the marijuana up here in the north. So I'm just going to hang out with Toronto. Thanks.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Did you hear I say marijuana?
He's on that Mary Jane.
That Mary Jane. Do, 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 do. I said Mary Jane. Brandon Ingram's in love with Mary Jane. It's his main thing. I'm sorry.
I want to apologize to everybody sitting here listening and watching this episode.
You gonna lie? You gonna lie?
My co-host is crazy.
You gonna lie, Tay? Look at his face.
I can't even.
His face.
I can't even remember if you told us if you liked the outfit or not. Is it wicked or kicking, dog?
He can't remember anything.
Oh,
his short-term memory is gone.
Look, I'm not going to waste too much time. This is a dope fit. I'm mad at him because he's got them Jordan on that I really wish I had in my repertoire. It looks like he got the off-white 5s in his repertoire. But I love this fit for Brandon Ingram. I am going to let you guys know because we can't remember what Travis was on. That I think that this fit is wicked. You know, I gave him a triple wicked. I must be feeling in love. You know, it's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Headlines episode, but I love all of these outfits, and I'm spreading all the love with this one. This one is dope, no question about it. Brandon Ingram is an academic. He went to Duke University, and that's probably why Travis is hating on him, trying to bring him down a little bit, because, you know, Travis hates Duke, but he's a Dookie.
I hate Duke.
And, but yeah, this one is dope. This one is dope.
All right, well, let's calm everything down here and bring a grown-up in the room with Ante, because clearly I'm a child. We'll go to Mitch Lawrence, who covers the NBA for Sirius XM. Mm-hmm. We'll talk to him about the All-Star break. And also, Tay, we got to talk Celtics with him. Take a listen. All right, here we go. Here with our guy, Mitch Lawrence of Sirius XM NBA Radio. And I want to start here because 8 NBA All-Stars, 8 were traded in the week leading up to the deadline through the deadline. And I thought, Mitch, you know, Adam Silver was just talking about how ratings are down, interest in the NBA is down. One way to spice it up, my friend, is to trade every damn star in the league, it feels like. What was sort of your initial reactions to some of these major moves? Of course, none bigger than the Luka move.
Well, my initial reaction to the whole thing was, man, they have totally destroyed the NFL on Super Bowl. I mean, that is, I mean, the NFL got no juice. This is a Kansas City team going for 3 straight against the Eagles. We saw what happened Sunday, a terrible game. But all throughout the week, it was all about the NBA. And, yeah, it's all about – I'm down here in the DFW area, and it's all about the Luka Doncic trade, which will – I mean, the criticism down here, people are going out of their minds about this trade. This has to be among the top most controversial trades in the history of the NBA because the fans here love Luka Doncic. He's only 25, and they just and they just went to the finals against the Celtics, as you guys know, 8 months ago,
right?
And they all feel like they just had the rug pulled out from under them. They can't believe that this guy was actually traded to the Lakers, no less. I mean, that's the killer, too. It's not just they gave up on him. They didn't want to pay him $350 million. They sent him to their number one rival. As you guys know, out west in the Western Conference, every team basically views the Lakers as their top rival. Whether you're in Dallas, you're in San Antonio, you're with Phoenix, you're with Portland, it doesn't matter. Right. So the fans here, you got to feel for them because, you know, if you're a young fan rooting for the Mavericks and you just saw them, all right, he had a rough finals against Boston, but you think he can get back there year after year. He might be the greatest player you're going to see going forward for your lifetime. I mean, Who says the Mavericks are going to get somebody as good, if not better than him? So it was just a wild – I mean, that just set up the whole week. I mean, the Aaron Fox was an interesting trade, but that doesn't cause huge ripples like this one. And obviously, Jimmy Butler, I just hope he finds joy in Golden State. And, guys, that was nuts the way he handled all that stuff. But the Luka trade has ramifications going forward, unlike these other trades, because of the way it now boxes Dallas into a team that, if Anthony Davis ever gets right, they have a very small window compared to what they had with Luka. And now it sets up the Lakers going forward in the post-LeBron era. And the fans here getting thrown out of the arena, we haven't even discussed that. I mean, that's crazy. There's this stuff going on in the Mavs arena where these fans now are chanting, fire Nico Harrison, who pulled off the deal. It's amazing the way everything is just blown up in the Mavericks' face. And it all comes back to the new owner, Patrick Dumont, who decided, you know what? I don't want to pay this guy $350 million, even though he's only 25. It's hard to believe they gave up on him, despite we know all of his baggage that he has, Luka Doncic. But, man, that is a rough deal for Mavs fans.
It is. It's a very rough deal, and I want to keep going with that because people are asking me all the time, like, can you explain what happened here or why this happened? So I want to see if I can get an answer from a person who's out there in Dallas can give me a little more explanation to why the Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks organization would make this decision.
No one knows. I mean, you hear that the owners that came in, Mark Cuban sold 73% of the team basically to the Adelsons over a year ago. It was in December of 23. And I don't know if, when you change owners and now they've got the power, now you really find out what it's all about. And you hear that they just don't care about basketball. All they care about, the Adelsons and Patrick Dumont, is they want to get gambling and the casino thing approved here in Texas. Right now, if you want to do any of that stuff, you got to go to Louisiana or Oklahoma. And they bought the team apparently with that in mind, if they're going to have a new arena in a small city with, hotels, retail, and a casino, and that they don't care about basketball. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, that's one explanation. How much do they really care about the winning aspect of fielding a winning team if you're giving up on Luka and you're acquiring Anthony Davis, who's going, 5-6 years older with this history of injuries.
Right.
I mean, that's the baffling thing, is that did you get enough for your return? When I heard about the trade initially, my thing was, listen, you can't give up on this guy, but if you do, can you at least go and get like Giannis Antetokounmpo out of the Milwaukee Bucks? Send Luka Doncic to the East. Do some sort of package with Milwaukee. Get Giannis up there. He may, it's not an impossible thing, because what have the Bucks done with Giannis since they won the title going on 4 years ago? They've been out of the first round once, right? And they've made a lot of bad moves up there. And you're thinking, maybe you can get him. I would have called the Boston Celtics and asked them about Jayson Tatum. As crazy. I'm not saying Boston would have done it, but you can't go to the Lakers and ask for Anthony Davis with his history of injuries. I know the last couple of years he's been better, but what happened in his first big game here in Dallas the other day? All of a sudden he goes down. He's got another serious problem. He's always getting hurt. Charles Barkley calls him street clothes. I mean, we all know his history. When he plays, he's a hell of a player. And, on paper, with he and Kyrie and Klay Thompson, and they've got some really good young bigs, and they did great last year defensively, getting to the finals. You say, maybe this window for a year or two looks reasonable. Maybe they can get back to the finals. Maybe they can get back against Boston. But after that, then what are they going to do? Now you're looking for a player of Luka Doncic's stature you can build around. I mean, they had a great transition here from Dirk Nowitzki, who got them their one title in their history. He was an MVP. They've never had a player like that before. And they made a nice transition to Luka Doncic. And now they've totally blown that up. And the why part of it, guys, is the biggest mystery known to man. Nobody here knows. I don't think anybody really knows, except that you have owners now who apparently think differently about basketball. The explanation that Luka's not committed enough, like guys like, Michael Jordan and Kobe. Patrick Dumont actually mentioned Shaq, which has to be a joke, because we know how, Shaq didn't take it seriously like Jordan, like Bird, like Kobe, like guys like that. But when you have a new owner, these type of things can happen. Nobody ever thought that they would trade Luka Doncic at the age of 25. Don't you have to ride it out with him and try to build around him for another 5-6 years?
Yes.
Isn't that the game plan? And that just, it's just inexplicable what happened.
It is. It makes too much sense to build around that guy, Mitch. That's what it was. And listen, if you're going to get fleeced by any team, just don't let it be the Lakers, for God's sake.
Right.
They couldn't get that right either. Let me transition to the Celtics here. Have you seen anything in the first half of the season where you're concerned? Have you seen something and said, well, that's not the same as a championship run? Or do you feel like, no, this team's set up for banner number 19, just the same way they were for banner 18? Do you see a Celtics repeat bid? What do you see?
Every time I keep thinking they're a little more vulnerable, and you see it in terms of their home court. Last year they lost, 6 games totally on their home court for a regular season, 2. They've already lost, 10 or so games at 9 or 10 games. You think this team is vulnerable. Drew Holiday's not right. Is it too much playing for Team USA? Take too much out of them. You wonder about Chris Bosh. But then the flip side of it is, well, who in the East is going to beat them 4 games out of 7 in a playoff series?
Right.
That's the thing that I really wonder about, because, guys, the East is worse than last year, if that's possible. I look at Cleveland as totally unproven when it comes to playoffs. We'll see how they do. They've had a marvelous, incredible regular season. Hats off to Kenny Atkinson and all of his players, because nobody expected that. But teams like Philadelphia and Milwaukee, who you thought maybe could challenge Boston, they're going nowhere this year, especially the Sixers. And the Knicks have 2. I look at Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns as being 2 really good kind of number 2 role guys. but they're not going to beat Boston. They've done nothing against Boston in the regular season. So every time I think Boston's taken a step back and come back to the pack a little bit, because they're only, they're on a pace to win 58 games, not the 64. Last year they were totally dominant. They're not as dominant, but again, I'm looking at who they're playing against, and I'm looking at they still have a higher ceiling in terms of a championship than anybody else. I, quite frankly, don't see anybody in the East coming out ahead of them. I think it would take a Tatum injury, which would sideline him, or other such problems where Boston would not be in at least the finals. And I give them a good shot to repeat. Why? Because I actually thought Dallas, pre-trade could get back to a finals based on what they did last year. They were a hell of a defensive team, even with Kyrie Irving and Luka, who are bad defenders. And I'm not so sure about Oklahoma City's offense after Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Denver has really hurt themselves with these loss of personnel, key personnel, since their title run. And I don't put any stock in the Lakers. I don't put any stock in that. It still remains the same. I don't put any stock in Golden State. So I give the Celtics a hell of a chance to repeat, but it's hard. We know that. But who's beating them, at least in the East? Who can beat them 4 out of 7 games? I don't see a team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been right there with you. I've been rolling on that train all year long.
Yeah,
the Celtics are rolling through the East, and Cavs fans are mad at me and claim that I don't watch Cavs basketball.
They call you a cash,
just
a casual.
because I say that the Celtics are going to roll through no matter what.
Yeah.
But, I want to take it back to the West just a little bit.
Yeah.
What team do you think has the best opportunity to make it out of the West and have the likelihood and the luxury of losing to the Celtics in the finals?
Yeah. Well, I kind of have to go, and I know I didn't mention Memphis and Houston. I just don't know about either of those teams. They're intriguing. I think Ime Udoka's done a great job. I just don't know if they're a little too young at this point. They got some veterans in Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet. And Memphis obviously has John. They've done a really good job. But in terms of right now, I say it's going to be either Oklahoma City or Denver. I discount Dallas because I just don't think Anthony Davis is going to be right here. We don't know about them going forward. They got a lot of injuries to their front court. Besides him, Derek Lively's also out. That's going to hurt them. I discount Minnesota. They're terrible in clutch games. Anthony Edwards cannot close games. We've seen that this year. He has a problem. Had a problem the other night against losing to a Bucks team without Lillard and Antetokounmpo, where he came up short. Going after, and he's a hell of a player, Anthony Edwards, don't get me wrong, but he has a problem closing games. They're bad in clutch games down the stretch of these close games. They don't win. Denver still has, and they had a setback last year because, they couldn't deal with Minnesota coming off a terrible Game 7, but they still have Jokic. They still have Jamal Murray, who put in 55 the other night. They still have one. I think I got to give them credit for that, even though, over the last couple of years, they've lost some good talent, including KCP, including, Jeff Green and Bruce Brown. So I would say OKC won based on their regular season.
Yep.
I still have I'm telling you guys, I'm worried about their offense. Who can I depend on if SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's the odds-on favorite to be the MVP, what happens if he has an off playoff game? What happens if people lock him up and force other people to beat them? Who is stepping up? Who can I count on offensively? To me, they don't have a guy who you just say automatically, hey, they've got a great second option here. I mean, when Giannis a few years ago, when they won the title in Milwaukee, Chris Middleton had some huge playoff performances. Drew Holiday was a guy who stepped forward. I don't see that. The Celtics last year, if Tatum wasn't going great guns, man, they had other guys who could come up and have big games. Jaylen Brown, right? I mean, he had Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown. When Tatum wasn't going well, Jaylen Brown had MVP in the finals, and he could step forward. You had Drew, you had Derek White. Oklahoma City, I don't know. They're pretty young. They haven't gotten out of the, with this group, they still have to get out of the second round. So we'll see. So it's either going to be them, I think, or Denver.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch, you've covered this league for a long time. I need a comp of this sort of Celtics dynasty, this new Celtics dynasty that we're seeing here. I've always compared them to the Warriors of, the Splash Bros and Kevin Durant. Not quite the star power, but I do think the Celtics are deeper. I think that Warriors team, obviously with those superstars and even with Steve Kerr, they were better coached, I would say. But this Celtics team is deep. That's the difference. But we see the volume of threes, just like we did with the Golden State team. Is that a fair comp in your mind, or do you see another team that sort of this current Celtics iteration reminds you of?
Well, I don't. It's interesting. They're big two guys, and they proved a lot last year, winning their first title together.
Right.
Yeah.
Separately, though, neither has been an MVP player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now Curry had won an MVP before they finally won a title. I think, right? I think a year before he won. And then you added Durant.
Right.
You added Durant, who was an MVP, to that team. And that, the amazing thing is, looking back on that team, before Steve Kerr took over for Mark Jackson, they had 2 playoff runs. They never got out of the second round. They got beaten the first round, and they got beaten the second round by the Spurs the next year. And then Steve Kerr came in, and then all of a sudden, out of left field, they started to become this dominant team, and then they added Kevin Durant. Boston's not quite there yet. They're going to have to win another title, if not 2, for me to start comparing. I don't see, as great a player as Tatum has been, and Jaylen Brown has had his moments. I mean, Jaylen Brown last year winning the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals and then the Finals. We know what he's all about. But with neither guy winning a regular season MVP, to me, they're just not of the level of that Warrior team. And you got to remember, too, before Durant got there, Klay Thompson was playing like a Hall of Fame player. And then when Durant was there, Klay Thompson was like their third option. That's how great that team was. That team, and they proved it in the playoffs. They had that one playoff run, guys, where they lost like one game. They almost had a historic. They almost swept. Nobody has gone 16-0. So I'm reluctant to compare Boston to them. I want to see what these guys do going forward, because they have the ability, in terms of their age, to keep getting back to an Eastern Conference Finals, if not beyond, and raising another banner or 2. And then we'll have to see what Brad Stevens does in terms of adding, subtracting guys. You always have to have those role guys who are so important. Now it's Porzingis and Holiday and White. Who's it going to be down the line when these guys get into the 30s? That's what's going to be interesting to say. I don't have a comparison. I look back at some of the great teams of the Celtics and great teams of all times. The thing that differentiates them from the Celtic teams is they really had the MVP elite star power.
Right.
That's Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
They won 3 straight. Guys were regular season MVPs, and you knew they were the top 2 or 3 players, sometimes 2 or 3, 4 players in the games. There's sometimes where Jaylen Brown isn't that, or Tatum's not that. And we know it's to me, it's a Tatum 1, Brown 1A or 2 type of thing, which has been a great success. They've gone to numerous conference finals. They've gone to several finals. They finally broke through. They won one, which was huge for them. And I think that I'm one of these people who, when a team like Boston finally breaks through, or even a team like Denver that won the other year, those guys have an advantage in the playoffs. They know what it takes to win. They've experienced it. They know the things that lead to success, the things that don't lead to success. And those are the teams that usually keep competing for titles. I expect Denver. That's why I think Denver has a good chance to get to a finals this year, maybe ahead of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City doesn't have that yet. And obviously in the East, nobody can compare. The only team really is Milwaukee, because Giannis has been there. But their team is too flawed. I mean, they're not, obviously. And that Drew Holiday trade is haunting them to this day.
Yes.
That backfired on them because they thought they had basically stolen Lillard away from Pat Riley, and all of a sudden they're faced with, encountering Drew Holiday, who was a great clutch performer for them in the playoffs. So they're obviously not the same team. And, a team like the Knicks, they haven't learned how to win yet. So Boston's in great shape going forward.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Mitch, we appreciate you. We'll bring you back before the Celtics start their playoff run. We'll get a playoff forecast with you. We appreciate you, brother.
Great.
Thanks for coming on.
Enjoyed it. Thanks. Enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
There you go, Tay. Our boy Mitch, always money. We love having him on here. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you this before we get out of here. I saw Markelle Fultz signed a deal with the Kings.
Yeah.
I think I told you I covered him in high school in D.C. He was so hyped up. He's never really lived up to that hype, especially being the number one pick. But I actually think this is a great move for the Kings. Right now, Tay, if you look, they're kind of in that play-in-ville range for the playoffs. Do you think Fultz is enough to move the needle to make them really a bona fide playoff team? We're talking 7, 8 seed here. Because I honestly, obviously, with losing De'Aaron Fox, they need a point guard. This guy's a solid point guard. He's not dynamic, but he is solid. I think it's enough to get them comfortably into the playoffs, 7, 8 seed.
Yeah, I don't know how to measure this team because they're not playing anybody right now since the trade deadline. I mean, they're on the 3-game win streak as we're recording this, and maybe they get the opportunity to win against the Pelicans again. But they played the Pelicans twice already, and then they played the Mavericks without AD. So I'm not sure how to measure this team. I think that they can get into an 8 seed possibly. I don't know if I'm ready to say 7 or higher than that, but I can see an 8 seed. I can see an 8 seed.
I can see as high as a 7.
Okay.
Here's where
7's like the
that's like the right. Here's where we agree. It doesn't matter where they end up. Once they get in, they will lose immediately.
Yes.
What I am intrigued to see, though, and I've told you this since it happened, I do want to see Zach LaVine in a position to actually win in the playoffs. We keep saying he's empty calories and he's not a winner. Let's see him in the postseason, and let's see what he can do. For that, Tay, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, too.
All right, and we are excited to always have you here at Hold My Banner, so thank you for rolling with us. Ante Campbell, Travis Thomas will be with you throughout the All-Star break. And then, of course, the second half of the season, it is on in the NBA. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.
Deuces.